Pan is another one.
Pan. Now I've just watched the trailer literally 2 minutes ago before we started filming. I didn't know there was another Peter Pan film coming out, but this looks quite interesting. I've not been a big fan of Hook, I have to say.
We just had the conversation just before.
Yeah.
And I really liked Hook. I thought it was really good. But I tend to like anything with Robin Williams.
Okay.
He probably could have been a Terminator 3, and I would have liked it. He could have been the Terminator in Terminator 3.
That would have been really interesting.
Can you imagine Robin Williams putting on them Elton John glasses? The joke would have gone down a lot better, I think, if it was Robin Williams. But yeah, anything with Robin Williams, I don't think there's anything I don't like with Robin Williams in. But it seems to have a very similar tone to that Pan. Later on in the film, earlier on, it seems quite dark.
Yeah.
You said it reminds you of Oliver?
Oliver, yeah. It looks a little like Oliver, the way he's in his orphanage, and he looks like he rebels by throwing his bowl on the floor. And then, obviously all the kids start looking up to him and stuff, and then all of a sudden they're getting grabbed in the night, and then he's on this ship sailing towards sailing in the sky towards
flying.
The star, what is it? The North Star to the right or something like that, and then they're in Neverland. And then you've got who I didn't expect to see in a Peter Pan film is
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Oh, as I've always known, Wolverine.
Yeah. Before the claws came out, you've got a hook. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, well, actually,
that's not a hook. So, yeah, and it looks like Captain Hook is a kind of a good guy.
He's his friend, isn't he? I think in this incarnation of it, Hook is Peter Pan's friend when they begin, and obviously it looks like it's set up to be a franchise, because I think eventually he's going to become the Hook we all know and love.
Oh well, yeah.
But so it's an interesting film again.
Yeah, it's more like a prequel as well, isn't it? It's kind of a prequel-y Peter Pan.
It's a prequel retelling, I would say.
But there was not long ago. There was a Peter Pan film a couple of years ago, I believe.
There's like one every 2 years,
every couple of, but they did do one, and I've not seen it, but I heard it wasn't too good. But
it's one of my wife's favourite films, so don't really tell you.
I really like the Disney one. I love the Disney one.
No, she liked the new one, the Kingdom. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago, might be longer. It's actually one of my wife's favourite films.
I don't think I've seen that one, but there was one just a couple of years ago, I think, that came out. But it might have been last year actually. I can't remember now.
I've definitely not seen that.
I've not seen it, but
that looks good. Another trailer we've only just watched as well was Mad Max.
Mad Max, yes. I really like the Mad Max series, and it's nice to see the original director back again in the driver's seat.
And Tom Hardy's in it. I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy at the moment. He's like one of my...
Tom Hardy's doing quite well at the moment, isn't he? He's getting some good roles.
Have you seen Locke yet?
I haven't. No.
Locke, fantastic. Just him in a car talking to a phone on speaker.
Yeah, I've heard about it, and in fact, I very nearly watched it the other night, but I will watch it soon.
And he does a very good Welsh accent as well. Like,
okay, I didn't know as well.
He does.
He is going through the UK, isn't he? He's travelling down the UK.
He's doing a Welsh accent, and he does a spot on. And the emotions he goes through in this car, he's having conversations with himself. He's having conversations talking to himself, but he's talking to himself as he's actually talking to his father, who's passed on. And the emotion he shows, and the fact that the way you can do it, and it's just him in the film when he's got nothing to react to, apart himself. Fantastic performance, absolutely brilliant.
Great.
For Tom Hardy.
So Tom Hardy in the new Mad Max. Do you think there might be a cameo with Mel Gibson?
You never know.
It'd be nice. It'd be quite cool. It'd be great to just see him pass on that. It's
a reboot, isn't it? It's a retelling. He's rebooting his own stuff, isn't he? Essentially, that's what he's doing, isn't he? But we still have a Mel Gibson, a cameo.
Can I just say on a sideline with Mel Gibson's films, right? Have you noticed in most of his films, his wife or girlfriend is killed?
Never noticed that.
In Lethal Weapon, his wife, we don't see his wife killed, but you find out his wife was killed in a car crash. And then in Braveheart, his wife gets slit to death. You know, this might be some spoilers here. In Mad Max, his wife and kid gets killed. In some other stuff as well. I can't think off the top of my head, but if you go through his films, you think, hang on a minute, yeah.
I would imagine that has happened in Signs because there's no wife there.
I don't know, maybe he's just divorced. It doesn't really mention it.
But the fact that this child's there says to me maybe that's happened because normally...
A Man Without a Face, I think his wife has died in that, and there's another one, I can't think off the top of my head, there's Payback, can't remember that one now, does his wife get killed in that? Anyway, going on a tangent there, so let's move on. Another film which could be another one on the fence for me is Taken 3. I really, really loved the first film. Second film is...
I've not seen either of them.
No, okay. Well, the first film was fantastic. You just, from beginning to end, it just... You can't take your eyes off the screen.
It's one of them films that I'm planning on seeing, but what happens is, if a film comes out and I don't get to see it, and it's hyped to death, it sort of makes me not want to see it again because I don't want to watch it and be disappointed type thing. It's like a weird... I don't know.
This film is like, even to the people who made the film, it's a surprise hit. You know, they didn't expect it to be as big as it was. And so, unfortunately, the second one doesn't quite get the same momentum as the first one does, in the sense of how good it was. But hopefully the third one will pick it up again, and we'll get this sort of intense action.
This is the last one, isn't it?
Yes, this definitely. I've heard an interview with Liam Neeson. He says this is it, really. So it'd be interesting to see how they take this one, because hopefully they've listened to how the second one went and think, right, let's see how we can pick this one up again. So, I mean, he's only got three characters in the film that are main, really. There's him, his daughter, and his ex-wife.
Ah, right.
His daughter's been kidnapped in the first film.
Yep.
I'm not giving any spoilers here because it's quite a
it's
beginning
of the film.
He gets kidnapped in the second film.
So what? He rescues himself?
Yeah. Yeah, he gets taken, or should I say taken, sorry. And the third film, apparently, is his ex-wife gets taken this time. So, there's no more people to take.
I find it quite interesting that he's rescues himself.
Yeah, it's kind of... I don't want to give anything away, really, if you haven't seen the film. I'll just say a spoiler here. It's not massively a giveaway, but one of the things he does is his daughter helps him rescue himself. But by doing it, she lashes grenades everywhere. I don't want to say any more than that, but it's just that bit is kind of like, okay, that's a bit dangerous.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so you have to watch the film now.
Yeah, sounds very intriguing. Trailer that's just come out this week as well that we need to talk about, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man, yes. Hasn't grabbed me as much as I thought it might.
This is probably the first Marvel trailer where I've gone, I'm excited for the film, don't get me wrong, it's a Marvel film. Ant-Man was one of the original Avengers, of course. I'm excited for the film, but the trailer itself just didn't get me that excited. It seemed very, no pun intended, but it seemed very small in scale. it seemed almost like it was some...
Maybe that's on purpose, because it's Ant-Man.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like it was made for television type thing.
It does seem a little bit like a TV sort of...
Or maybe I'm wrong, maybe just TV's getting bigger now and that's why trailers seem like they're being made, but it didn't grab me attention the way the other ones did.
It's still only a teaser.
Yeah.
So it's early days, really.
But what I will say though is I'm glad they cast Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, because Paul Rudd, believe it or not, when Edward Norton wasn't going to be he was my first choice to play Bruce Banner.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been a good.
Because Paul Rudd to me just always seems like somebody who's trying to keep himself under control. He always he gets his anger out in his words rather than anger. So I always thought to me he'd be a good Bruce Banner. But Mark Ruffalo, like I said in our previous videos, absolutely killed it, and I wouldn't want to see anybody else now as Bruce Banner other than Mark Ruffalo. But Paul Rudd was my first choice of Bruce Banner. So watching him now as well, you know, he's not Scott Lang, isn't he? So, but I've seen him as Ant-Man. I'm excited to see what he does with it. And a theory of mine is I think they've put him in there as an option for if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't sign this contract to go on further, because I think he
Yes, I think that's right as well.
I think he might take the Iron Man role. No, he won't become Iron Man. He will take the Iron Man role within the team.
Yeah.
Iron Man will go and that man will go in.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if what they do with the casting as the next few years come along.
Well, I think what they're doing as well, they're putting in a lot of options in case other people don't sign on, because you look at Chris Evans now. Chris Evans has said he wants to
be directing now.
Yeah. So I think the options are there for, in the comics now, the Falcon is now Captain America, isn't it? The Falcon. Is it the Falcon's become Captain America in the comics?
I don't know. They might work in a way of because they had this Bucky
Barnes.
If Bucky starts to remember his friendship with him, then maybe that might switch and he might become the new. But
remember, comics don't always, films don't always follow the comics.
Yeah,
but their options are there if these people decide they don't want to sign on anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously as well, if you've seen the Ant-Man trailer, you'll notice the Wasp. I assume it's Wasp was in there. Maybe she's been brought in case Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson goes, right, I've done enough superhero.
Well, I think it's going to come a point now, because they've done tons of films now, haven't they? So I think there'll be a transition between the older cast and the newer cast, and then they'll go into a phase 4 and build on new storylines.
But Joss Whedon's already said, hasn't he, by the time Avengers 3 comes round, the Avengers team will change.
That will be a transition, yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see which way that works out.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to Ant-Man, don't get me wrong. I believe in Marvel. I think Marvel have done some excellent work over the years, and so I'm very excited to see the film.
Yeah.
But the teaser so far just hasn't quite grabbed me as much as some of the older ones. Not to say that it doesn't look bad, but it's
not wow good.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We used to be in WoW, aren't we?
I mean, like,
we were a bit spoiled.
You compare that to like the Avenger movie, Age of Ultron trailer, and you're like, whoa, and then you see the Ant-Man one, you're like, okay.
Oh, there's not one.
Yeah. Right, moving on.